Hey, how you doing today? I am Tequila Coleman. In today's video, I'm going to answer this question that was posted in the comment section on one of my videos. I want to talk about her comment. I think it's a lady. I want to talk about your comment, break this down so that you can have understanding on how to interact with your God-ordained spouse, okay? Because I believe you're not the only one who is going through this. So I want to bring understanding and clarity to the situation. So here's the comment. I believe it's a lady. She said, if your God-ordained spouse keeps coming and going, spending days with you, then pulling away again, how do you handle it? Do you put up boundaries or is telling them no, not giving unconditional love? I know if I tell him I can't see him, I'm essentially pushing him into the arms of another woman. Okay, so let's talk about what you just wrote. So your God-ordained spouse is spending days with you and then they pull away again, right? And so for them to do that, because you asked me how did you handle this? For them to do this, that means you have been communicating to your God-ordained spouse that you're going to continue to tolerate them spending days with you, probably like 4 to 5 days with you. I say about 3 to 4 days with you, only for them to pull away from you, right? Now, when they spend days with you, they get your hopes all up. They're meeting your affection need. They're telling you all of what you want to hear. You're feeling all good because you're with your spouse, right? But then when they pull away, you feel rejected. You feel abandoned. You having second thoughts, right? You're second guessing yourself. You're wondering, are they with the counterfeits, right? And these things have your emotions going up and down, up and down. 1 minute I'm happy, I'm just flowing, right? Next minute I'm back down, depressed, sad, confused, okay? So you have to stop this. How do you handle this? You handle it by stopping it, okay? This is where our standards come into place at, okay? You have to have standards on how you want your God-ordained spouse to interact and treat you, okay? Don't get so caught up in the fact that God told you that this person is your God-ordained spouse to where now you're just accepting anything from them. No, okay? If I believe you are a woman, if this is a God-ordained husband and he's showing up this way, you have to hold him accountable, okay? What that means is, number one, you got to get clear on your standards, okay? What are your standards? Do you want to continue to allow your God-ordained spouse to come in your life, spend a few days with you, get your hopes all up, only for him or her to pull back away from you? Is that okay with you? Because it's not okay with me. So if it's not okay with you, you have to step in there and put a boundary right there. You got to stop it. You got to begin to communicate to your God-ordained spouse, this is unacceptable, okay? If you want to continue to pull away, because pulling away, that can mean they're off with another person. Pulling away could mean they're now having second thoughts about the relationship with you, you know. It can mean a lot of different things. And so I don't have time for that, okay? You know, this stance is coming with a lot of warfare. And so we don't need the unnecessary warfare. You know, if they haven't figured it out, if they want to be with you, if your God-ordained spouse hasn't figured it out, if he want to be with you or not, then give him or her all the time they need by themselves to figure out where they want to be, okay? This is what I mean about accountability. You have to hold God-ordained prodigal spouses accountable, because one of the reasons why they are prodigal is because there's some immaturity going on here. There's some irresponsibility going on here, right? There's a lack of character. And so holding people accountable is the very thing that helps them to grow up. It helps them to mature, right? God is holding them accountable with them getting back in right standing with God. So if God holding your God-ordained spouse accountable, you must begin to hold your God-ordained spouse accountable as well. Now, you said, do you put up boundaries or is telling them no, not giving unconditional love? Let me tell you something. Boundaries, having boundaries is unconditional love. Telling your God-ordained spouse, the one you love, no, is loving them, okay? See, God doesn't allow us to just come in his house any type of way. He doesn't allow us to have one foot out with the enemy, right? And then we coming back into God's house. He's like, no, which God will you serve, right? So boundaries, look at boundaries as a form of protection, okay? Because when your God-ordained spouse show up this way with you, it causes you to feel a certain way. It hurts your heart. So you have a responsibility to protect your heart, okay? And so, again, don't allow your God-ordained spouse to get away with this just because this is your God-ordained spouse. No. Okay, you have to build boundaries into this God-ordained love story. You have to know what are your standards, okay? What I will tolerate and won't tolerate. What's acceptable and not acceptable. What are my non-negotiables? You have to know these things, okay? And not be afraid to enforce them, which leads me to, because you said, I know if I tell him I can't see him, I'm essentially pushing him into the arms of another woman. Let me tell you something. Even if you don't tell him no, if he want to be with another woman, he's going to go to that other woman, okay? Sometimes, you just got to let them go and let them be with who they are choosing, okay? Just so that they can see, I don't really want this choice. Just so that God can step in and begin to show them, I didn't choose that counterfeit. You're with the wrong person, right? So you can't be afraid of leaving, okay? You cannot be afraid of telling your God-ordained husband no, okay? That is your insecurity speaking, because somewhere in you, you probably feeling like, if my God-ordained husband, if I tell him no and he go off with the counterfeit, then the counterfeit is going to take my man. The devil is a lie. God said that's your God-ordained spouse. God is basically telling you this is going to end in marriage. All you have to do is stay in your prayer closet, and you also have to build boundaries in this love story. You have to know what are your standards, and you also got to place higher value on yourself and command more from your God-ordained spouse so that he can stop taking advantage of you, okay? So understand, when we allow our God-ordained husbands, I'm talking about the husbands here, when we allow our God-ordained prodigal husband to spend days with us and then pull back, they one day they're with us, the other day they're with counterfeits. When you put up with this, when you tolerate this, you are basically communicating to your God-ordained prodigal spouse, I'm okay with it. I'm okay with you being with other women. I'm okay with you toiling with my heart. I'm going to continue to sit here and wait on you to figure it out. No, ma'am. Place higher value on yourself. Remove yourself from this whole entire situation, okay? It looked like God is trying to step in here and cause a divine separation, okay? Because he has to correct a few things that is going on in this love story, okay? He got to correct how your God-ordained prodigal spouse is interacting with his chosen one. And he also got to correct you and teach you how to like build boundaries in here and standards and place more value on yourself. So in the meantime, while you are in this divine separation, I highly recommend you begin to work on your insecurities. I want you to work on growing in confidence, okay? And also building your faith up around this promise. A counterfeit can't take what is yours, okay? I want you to tell yourself that. A counterfeit can't take what is mine. God promised me this, okay? God isn't making his promise with a covenant. With a counterfeit, right? He is making his promise with the chosen one. You are the chosen one, so build your faith up in this area, okay? And so I'm going to stop right there, okay? So if this is something you need help with, go over to my website, GodOrdainedMarriages.com. Book a one-on-one session with myself by clicking on the coaching tab, and I will help you begin to get clear on what are your boundaries you need to build in this God-ordained love story. What are your standards you need to set with your God-ordained prodigal spouse? Because when your God-ordained prodigal spouse see that you are placing more value on you and you are telling him no, you're not afraid to lose him, that's when he's going to get his act right, okay? So that is it. I am Tequila Coleman. I'll talk to you all real soon. Take care.